You're listening to a Soul One podcast.
So this is old news, but still good news. About a month ago, Taylor, Spaceballs 2 started filming, which meant that for the first time in almost 20 years, Rick Moranis has returned to making movies.
Is he Canadian?
He is Canadian. He got his start on a Canadian comedy show, right? I think.
With like Mike Myers.
SCT.
Yeah, that sketch.
Yes,
sketch
yeah.
show.
Yeah. Yeah, so, Canadian.
He had a quite tragic story. He left acting. His wife passed away.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's sad, but then he wanted to raise his children, which is happy. That's like a nice side of it, but
yeah, like
he left is sad.
He left for reasons that, were important to him and certainly not going to be obviously judged for that. Makes total sense why he would do so. It's great to see him back. I mean, with all these sequels and return to movies from 20, 30 years ago, it's always hit and miss. You never know what this is going to be. Mel Brooks has created so many delightfully funny movies that I'm interested to see what this is going to be. It's just kind of nice to have someone like Rick Moranis back, I feel. It's kind of like a nice thing to kind of see. So yeah, I'm interested in this.
Has Mel Brooks done a sequel before?
No.
Also, is he alive?
He is alive. By the time this movie comes out, will he be? I don't know.
He's quite old.
He's like 99 or something.
Yeah, okay.
He's very old.
Like how Shatner. William Shatner's 99. Who and I know we're not supposed to refer to anything in time, Mike, but by the time this airs, William Shatner, because he was in the hospital recently.
Yes, yeah. I mean, it's you get to a certain age and
you get to 99, Mike.
Yeah,
you're a little bit on borrowed time.
You're it's kind of expected what's going on, and I think the thing about the Mel Brooks thing is this movie is not slated to come out till 2027, so I don't know if he's going to be around by the time it comes out. I don't think he's directing it. Like, I think he's like supervising or producing or involved,
consulting.
But everyone's back. Now, have you seen Spaceballs? Did you?
Of course, that's my only frame of reference for Star Wars.
Okay, well,
I saw Spaceballs before I saw any Star Wars.
It's essentially Star Wars. So yeah, they're all coming back. Bill Pullman is back. Rick Moranis is back. I mean, obviously, John Candy Camp.
I was gonna say,
passed away.
Is everyone coming?
Not
back?
Everybody, but a good amount of the cast is coming back, which is good to see. But I'll be very interested to see what this movie even is, because it's been so long, and because of that, I mean, that's kind of the reason why I chose my movies today. We're kind of doing a bit of an '80s throwback. And I'm going to talk about the original Spaceballs, the first one, and Little Shop of Horrors, which is another Rick Moranis film.
He was huge in the 80s.
Yeah, and to the 90s as well. Honey, I Shrunk the Kids was kind of a big movie for him. And yeah, I think for me, Little Shop, Spaceballs, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, all of those were great Rick Moranis movies. So I thought I would talk about that because you chose another 80s cult classic to talk about today.
Yes, I am reviewing the 1980 film Fade to Black, which the algorithm on my social media has been recommending to me, Mike. So that's why I chose Fade to Black.
The algorithm has been basically saying you should watch this, so you just jumped on it. And is this I'm very curious. I'm not going to review it. Is this a situation where the algorithm was correct? Or did they get you wrong?
It's like, I was like, okay, algorithm, let's give it a whirl. You think you know me? Let's see if
you know what you're talking about.
So, should should I just go right in to my review, Mike, or do you
Uh,
want to go like kind of back and forth? You do
let's go back and forth because I have
okay,
two. Let's go back and forth. That was more just for a little tease because I was just
yeah,
interested to see. But you'll get to that as to how this algorithm was. But yeah,
yeah, because it's kind of part of my review.
yeah. I'll talk about Spaceballs first because
Cool.
you've seen it and it's what's getting the sequel. So yeah, as Taylor you pointed out, Spaceballs is simply a Star Wars parody. It's essentially all the movies kind of squished into one, but really Spaceballs is kind of a direct parody of the first movie. There's just a lot of elements kind of from all over the place
So,
within there.
and you should say the first three, correct? Because this movie came out in the 80s. So the
This would
second,
be the sort of
yeah.
original movies, yeah, not any of the prequels. Though I imagine they're going to riff on those now. I would imagine that's what they're going to do with the
Who's
second
gonna
one.
play Kylo Ren?
It's really interesting. I haven't even looked at the cast list for this because I'm wondering who else is in this movie, and I'm going to look it up now because you bring a really good question. Like, I imagine they're going to bring in younger people to play like the younger versions of whoever they're. Okay, so this cast list is small. So the cast list right now only includes the people from the original movie plus Josh Gad. That's all they've released.
I assume Josh Gad is gonna do the Chewbacca character.
Yeah, like I imagine. Yeah, they brought
Chewie or
Josh
whatever
Gad in to play. Hey, I don't remember what the name is. Barf, isn't it? Barfay.
Yeah,
Barf.
yeah.
It's Barfay. Yeah. So right now, like everyone from the original, like you've got Bill Pullman, Rick Moranis, Mel Brooks, Keke
Bill
Palmer.
Pullman hasn't been in a lot recently, eh?
Daphne
Did he retire?
Bill Pullman's kind of returned, I think, to acting because he was in that remake of Independence Day.
There was a remake of Independence Day?
Yes, this was just before the pandemic. Yeah, I reviewed it on this show. Yeah, that's one that Matt
blocked it out.
And look. Oh well, one other person, Lewis Pullman, Bill Pullman's son, is also looks like it's going to be in this.
Probably to play the younger version of him.
I imagine Lewis Pullman was in Top Gun Maverick and Thunderbolts. And was very good in both those movies. So he's a very good actor. This is definitely legacy artist territory, in case we're wondering, as opposed to whatever the other ones.
Nepo baby.
Yeah, that's right. Not a Nepo baby, legacy artist. So yeah, that's all the cast that we know so far. The original Spaceballs movie is basically a parody on Star Wars, which follows Bill Pullman's character. Lone Star, I think, is the name of the character, and kind of he plays sort of both a Han Solo / Luke Skywalker-esque character, who basically has to save the princess and save, I think it's Duridia, from being destroyed by this evil dark helmet played by Rick Moranis. What I think remember the most about Spaceballs is not just its kind of parody of Star Wars, because I think it's also like just a legitimately funny movie with like some good gags and good jokes in it. There's so many references to sci-fi in general. Like there's a whole scene that riffs on Aliens, where a chest burster bursts out of someone's chest and does a little dance at a diner, and all these other things that they do that basically make it like, yeah, we're parodying Star Wars, but if you have seen sci-fi movies, you'll get the cliches that they're playing off of.
It's
and
like
I
the scary movie. It's like the scary movie movies.
That's exactly the point I was about to make. Is it's so much like Scary Movie, where yeah, they might follow the storyline of one, but they're really talking about like all the different scary movies that maybe had come out in the past couple of years, and they're really parodying the genre in general. And I think that's something Mel Brooks does very well. Is I think his movies may be riffing on one or two really specific things, but they're so just funny across the board that I think if you're not a sci-fi fan, you can still laugh and enjoy Spaceballs, and I guess, I mean, Taylor, did you like the original movie? Like,
Oh yeah, it's a
did
great
you?
movie.
So,
We're
and
going
you're not
plaid, combing the desert.
Combing the desert's a good. That's a great joke. Great, also a great Star Trek actor who's in that scene, who's one of the people who's combing the desert. I think that just proves the point of this movie. Spaceballs is something that even if you have not seen Star Wars, you're not going to be lost. You're going to be still laughing, enjoying the kind of riffs that they do. That I think people like Rick Moranis and especially Mel Brooks do very, very well. It's kind of a fourth wall breaking movie. It very much knows what it is, and that's where a lot of the laughs come from.
I know we're talking about Rick Moranis, but did you know that they're gonna rehash? They're rebooting the Scary Movie franchise,
Yeah, I actually did see that there's going to be I think a sixth one.
and I
Um,
believe it's a lot of the original cast are returning.
well, I think the Wayans brothers are still behind it, right? Like, I think
Yes,
they
yeah.
are the ones doing it. Yeah, so it's still like the kind of original creative team plus bringing some of the cast back. I mean, I will say Scary Movie 3 is still one of the funniest movies I think I've ever seen.
I haven't
Um,
seen that. Oh, Scary Movie 6 slated for 2026.
Okay, there you go. Yeah, I did see that was coming back. Another one that, again, with these parody style movies that had gone away for a bit. Growing up, we had a lot of those. Like,
Oh
we
yeah.
had a lot of these kinds of movies.
And we don't really have them anymore. And I was also gonna say it's a rare talent like Mel Brooks and did you say Wayland brothers? The guys who do
Oh, Wayans brothers, yeah.
Wayand brothers, the ones who do the scary movie ones.
Yes.
It takes, to me, it's a rare talent to be able to spoof a whole genre. And even if you don't watch that genre, still find the movie funny. Like, I feel like you can watch any Mel Brooks movie, whether it's Blazing Saddles, Young Frankenstein, and even if you don't watch those movies, you don't watch horror movies, or you don't watch westerns, you can still enjoy those movies and find something to laugh about. I don't know a lot of directors that would be able to do that today.
Yeah, yeah. No, definitely. Yeah, and it's interesting that Spaceballs was one of several of these kinds of movies. Like, a lot of Mel Brooks movies were like that. Like, even Robin Hood Men in Tights is very much parodying like the action adventure film.
Does he do non-spoof movies?
Mel Brooks?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, The Producers was like an original idea. I guess it's kind
Okay.
of a spoof on Broadway, but not really.
Right.
So I think he does have movies that are still all comedies, but not necessarily spoofing something. I mean,
Right.
I think he's the king of spoofs and satires. But I would say like The Producers still within of itself has like a lot of original ideas, and it is more
Right.
just a comedy movie. Which was then later turned into a musical. But definitely Robin Hood Men in Tights, History of the World Part 1, Spaceballs. Like, I think these are definitely riffing on specific genre films, which he does very, very well. I enjoyed kind of the revisit of Spaceballs, and I think it's going to be interesting to see what they do with it. I'm cautiously optimistic because some of these movies that I've seen over the past couple of years that have been kind of returned to movies of the 80s or early 90s, as we're getting into, I've not really enjoyed. But I will say, Top Gun Maverick was fantastic. So maybe, you can, if you take care with the film, maybe you can do it right. And he doesn't do a lot of sequels. So the fact that they're doing this, and Mel Brooks is behind it, gives me the cautious optimism that this is going to be okay.
I hope at the very least you can just tell that the cast is having fun. That
Yeah.
they're all happy to be
Yeah.
back together and they're just having a good old time.
Yeah, fair enough. But for me, Spaceballs is one of those movies that I think you can revisit anytime, and I give it a see it because
Definitely.
I think you should. And I would hope with the second one coming out, there might be an opportunity to see it in theaters again.
I was
Maybe they
just
could do
Mike, I
a
was just gonna
re-release.
say that would be a good theater movie for sure.
Yeah.
Well, because I cut you off, should I go to Fade to Black?
Yeah, no, I was done. You didn't come in.
Fade you to black.
I'm completely finished. So you go right ahead.
Okay, so As someone who's as chronically online as I am, between my various social medias, more so now, Mike, I don't know what's happened in the last year, but Facebook in the algorithm on Facebook has changed, and now I get like suggested videos, and most of them, there's some like weird cooking ones or like TV shows or whatever, but most of them are clips of movies that I've never seen before. But the
Mm,
algorithm's trying to like hack what I like, what types of movies I want to watch. Nine
yeah.
times out of 10, I'm like, no. There is one movie that continues to pique my interest, and I keep forgetting the name of it. It's something like This Ordinary Life, and it's about a woman. From what I can gather between Wikipedia and my Facebook feed, it's about it's like, I think it takes place during the 1940s, World War II, and this woman becomes pregnant out of wedlock, and so her father forces her to marry a farmer in like a middle of nowhere farm town, and then it's like a feel good romance. And I'm like, okay, Facebook, I'm interested. So this might this might be a new um this might be a new segment for me, Mike. Taylor
Mm,
beats the algorithm, to see to review the movies that Facebook and Instagram recommends to be on the
yeah.
recommended videos.
That's interesting.
Do you get these when you're on Instagram
All
or
the time.
Facebook?
Oh, all the
Okay,
time. All the
so
time.
that would be a fun that would be a fun one. Does the algorithm know me as well as it thinks it does? So anyways, needless or
Taylor,
as
my
I was
algorithm thinks I'm French.
okay, I often get French stuff too, and that's because
Yeah.
my phone thinks I'm in Quebec. And
Oh,
it's like,
okay. Maybe
no,
that's it.
I had to Reddit it to the point because there was like online shopping where they're like, we don't ship to Quebec. And I'm like, I'm
Mm,
not in Quebec. So somehow the phone or whatever, it thinks your IP is in Quebec. But yes, see, the algorithm will never understand us, Mike, because our phones don't even register that we're in Ontario.
okay, so maybe that's why I've been getting so many French like commercials and ads recently.
Like on YouTube,
Yeah, on YouTube.
yeah,
Yeah.
it thinks your internet thinks you're in Quebec for some reason.
Okay.
Yeah, very interesting.
Very interesting.
My new phone for the longest, I shouldn't say the longest time, but probably a good 6 months, no French ads. And then all of a sudden I started getting French ads again. I went, honeymoon's over. They think I'm back in Quebec.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyways. So, I, it's November, but spooky season never ends. Spooky season is a state of mind and it's in your heart. So I thought I would review Fade to Black, which is described by Wikipedia as a psychological horror comedy written and directed by Vernon Zimmerman. I am not familiar with this director. Mike, I don't know if
Mm,
you know Vernon Zimmerman, but
not off the top of my head.
maybe he was very active in the 80s. I don't know. I also read on the Wikipedia that he takes offense. He does not consider this movie a horror. So
Oh,
that's
really?
interesting.
Yeah. That is interesting. Okay. What does he
um
consider it? Like, does it say what he considers it?
it says so under development. It says a labor of love for director Vernon Zimmerman, who stated that it wasn't a horror film in an interview after its release. The film starred Dennis Christopher, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, so it doesn't say, it just was a labor of love. Like, he just really wanted to make this movie. So the premise of this movie is pretty simple. And also, Mike, it really speaks to us, you and I, and also probably many of our listeners, especially Tyler Vance. So he's a cinephile, but he's shy and lonely and really awkward and people don't like him.
That's
So it's
Tyler.
like it's I like to think it's me if I didn't marry Dan. So not as bad, because he goes on a murdering rampage to essentially, I guess, seek revenge on the people who have bullied him. But the gimmick is that each time he murders someone, he's impersonating a classic movie star.
Oh,
Um,
interesting. Okay.
Two of the murders I wouldn't even consider murders. They're more like, no, even there's like three murders where he like causes the deaths, but they're more accidents, which I thought was weird. Like, Can you even consider this a murder? He just weird. So the movie moved a little bit slowly for me because I was expecting a horror movie, but it makes a little bit more sense that now that I know the director said it's not a horror movie, it makes sense that why the kills don't start until much later in the movie. I don't think there's a kill until like past the 30-minute mark, but I could be wrong. So, it's like I said, it's a very simple plot. He's completely obsessed with movies. He has a psychotic break and he starts murdering his bullies. I think this is one of those movies where it's a little bit hard to review because the idea behind it, Mike, is so, dare I say, cool. Like, it's a cool premise. You got a cinephile who impersonates famous movie characters and commits his kills. So that's a pretty cool premise.
It is.
This is one of the very rare instances, very rare. This might be the first time I've ever said this on the show, maybe the second, where I would like to see this movie remade. But
oh, really?
Yeah, because I think it's such a cool idea, but I just feel there's like, it just wasn't executed the best way. And I think it might be because maybe it was because of the way it was edited or whatever. It feels like it is a horror movie, but it doesn't become a horror movie until the movie's well underway. I also didn't like the lead actor, who is Dennis Christopher. He's in Chariots of Fire, It, and Django Unchained.
Okay.
Personally, I'm not going to say he's a bad actor. I just didn't like his portrayal of the character. And it wasn't scary. Like, I think you could remake this movie and it could be scary or chilling or, more psychological tension. It kind of, it just didn't like 100% work for me. And like I said, like some of the kills where I'm like, well, he kind of like, at one point, one of the kills is like, he scares someone into having a heart attack. And so you're kind of, I don't know, I'm like, kind of lame.
No, that's not enough. Yeah, you gotta give me more than that.
Maybe that was like edgy in the 1980s and I'm jaded because I've seen so many horror films. But I guess because this is going to sound maybe a little bit bananas, but people are going to think I'm a gross creep. But if I'm going to watch a movie like this, it's got a cool setup. It's got a cool murderer. You want the murders to be kind of as cool as the character. Does that make sense, Mike? Do you ever feel that when you're watching?
No, I agree. No, I think if you're going to have a cool and interesting character, you want the kills to match that in creativity and intrigue. And I think that's, correct me if I'm wrong, but is that not the appeal of these movies? The unique and different ways that the kills happen.
Yeah. Yes. I would think, saying that out loud makes me feel like a creep, but we're talking specifically about movies and not real life. So it's
not
okay.
Real life. Yeah. I don't know who needs to hear this, but I know Taylor, people do need to hear this. Movies are not real life. Right? So it's, we're talking about clearly movies.
Especially when it's like a horror comedy, people. Like, you want them to have cool kills. It's just part of the thing. Like it's the same with character design, right? Like when you have like the character design of the killer in the movie is like pretty unique and interesting, and so you want like the murders to match that characterization. So there's also like one of them, one of the murderers was Hopalong Cassidy. I'm not familiar with that character, but he wears like a rubber mask when he's that murderer, and it's like super creepy. And that one was like, that kill, I was like, okay, that matches the characterization, that matches. And then other times, like, he's chasing a woman and she trips and like impales herself on a fence, and that's how she dies. I'm like, again, that's an accident,
right?
But maybe that was supposed to be funny because it's billed as also a horror comedy. So maybe those deaths were supposed to be like funny. Silly on purpose.
Yeah, silly, funny. Yeah.
but it didn't really work for me.
No.
So also interesting, Mickey Rourke is in this movie as a very minor role. I thought, is that Mickey Rourke? This movie came out in 1980, so it must have been before he had his big break. Unless he had been acting in the 70s, which I'm not super familiar with. Mike,
Yeah,
do you
I don't
know?
know. I don't know when
He was
started.
huge in the 80s.
Mhm.
And so that's why I was kind of surprised to see him in such a small supporting role. But again, this might have been like before he had his super big break. I'm just looking really
Or
quickly.
one of those, even when you're famous, you spend a lot of money and get them into this thing, and they just don't know what they're signing up for.
That's true.
You know.
So anyways, was the algorithm right? That
Yeah,
coming back
that's
to
the
your
question.
original question, Mike.
Yeah.
It was right in that this is why AI will never quite be, or maybe it will get there, but it's not there yet. If you were to like feed into chat GBT what like suggest a movie for Taylor based on, whatever certain parameters, and they spit this movie out, but like based on the major plot points, yes, it was right. Like the premise was great. The fact that it's billed as a horror comedy, like whatever. But the reality is AI hasn't watched the movie, Mike, so it doesn't know if it's a good movie or not. It just says like on paper this would be a Taylor movie. Does that make sense? What I'm trying
Yeah.
to explain to
Yeah,
you,
I think so. I think so. On paper, yes. In execution, no.
yeah, it just
Yeah.
didn't 100% work for me. That being said, I think this is an airplane it. Like it wasn't, like I said, I loved the premise. I think some of the character design was really cool. I just wish, and it might have been like a limitation of budgeting because this movie was made in the 80s. I don't know what. Um, all that to be said, I think it was like an hour and a half, maybe an hour 40. Throw it on when you're on an airplane, a goofy movie to kill some time. It will work. But I think, Mike, of all of the IP that people are remaking, rehashing, rebooting, whatever, why not dip into the catalog like this and pick kind of like a semi-obscure cult classic and like reboot it with today's budgets? And I don't even want to say technology because I don't think CGI is the answer for everything, but with today's production value.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it would be a lot of fun.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I think you could have a lot of fun with that premise. Yeah.
So it's an airplane it for me. Fade to black.
Let's do that. The last movie we're going to talk about today is Little Shop of Horrors. Now, have you seen this one, Taylor?
I feel like I've seen like snippets of it on
Yeah.
cable growing up, but I've never sat down and watched the whole thing.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's a musical.
And my school never did it. It seems to be a popular high school music.
Very popular high school show. Very, very popular with high school students. It's fun because you get a... I have not. No, it's one of the ones that have gotten away. I haven't had a chance to do it because, I mean, it as much as it's sort of a very small show in a lot of ways, you got to figure out that animatronic puppet, That's
yeah.
the key.
She has a name, right? What's her name?
Audrey 2.
Yeah, you have to do Audrey 2. You have to have the budget for the flower.
Well, and in this film, I mean, it's Jim Henson Productions,
my favorite guy,
that do the Audrey 2 plant. But yeah, essentially, Little Shop of Horrors is about Rick Moranis plays basically a young guy who is working a dead-end job in a flower shop that's not really doing very well, and he stumbles upon a plant that is very interesting. It kind of looks like a Venus flytrap, but very interesting and unique. And it starts to bring in some attention. But he soon discovers that the only way for the plant to grow is to feed it blood, specifically human blood. And the movie takes off from there as the plant continues to sort of, at the beginning, feed off of Seymour, is the name of the character, who's played by Rick Moranis. Feed off of sort of like Seymour, just kind of like pricking his finger, giving him blood, but eventually gets too big. And he keeps propositioning Seymour to murder people for him to feed him the plant, because if Seymour does not keep this plant going, his dead-end job that suddenly becomes successful, the girl that he really likes suddenly starts to show interest in him, he feels he'll lose all those things. So it's kind of like a very, very interesting premise. It's a very, very fun musical. Steve Martin has an absolutely wonderful cameo in it, and so does Bill Murray. And it's just sort of a very, very fun, intriguing show, but it's also very dark. Like this is very much a dark comedy, Taylor. Like it's so
There's
um,
murder.
yeah, lots of murder, mayhem happening all over the place.
And Steve Martin's character is kind of sleazy, right?
Oh yeah, he plays the dentist, who is a very, very, very sleazy character, but has one of the best entrances in I think cinema history. And he's just delightful in the role. They're all just so good. Rick Moranis, Steve Martin, they're just wonderful in this movie. The original, I don't have her name right in front of me, but in the Audrey 2 is named after the character Audrey, who is Seymour's love interest. So he names the plant. Ellen Green. No, yes, Ellen Green. Ellen Green is the name of the woman who plays in the film. Was also the original Audrey on Broadway. So they had her come do the role for the movie, and she's phenomenal in this movie. Now, the thing that I think sometimes turns people off from this movie is they don't realize that it's a parody of B movies. Like it's a direct parody and satire of like old monster B movies like The Fly and those kinds of things, where like a little over the top, some monster happens,
like Rocky Horror Picture Show. People
That's
don't
right.
realize that it's
a parody.
Yeah,
it's a satire. Rocky Horror is a satire. No one realizes that. Ottawa's doing 3 productions of it in a row, and it's 3 too many. More on that another time. But essentially, she's very, very good in this role, and she plays this over the top, bumbling, typical blonde that you would have seen in these movies very, very well. And everyone is playing everything over the top and big. Frank Oz is the director of this movie, who's done a million things, including a bunch of stuff with Jim Henson and George Lucas, through Muppet stuff. And Frank Oz is Yoda. So he directed this, and as I said, I think a highlight of this movie is still the very interesting, well done animatronic plant that looks real and wonderful. Like, it's all practical. This movie's all done practically, and it's just kind of a wonderful movie. Now, one thing interesting about this movie is there's a very famous director's cut that is different from the original movie. That the director's cut has more of the original, the sort of musical's ending. So the musical ends. I'm just going to spoil this. This movie's been around forever. The musical's been around forever. I'm going to kind of spoil it a little bit. The ending is that the plant wins in the musical, and that is sort of softened a little bit in the movie, whereas the director's cut really leans right into it, which is that the fact that the Audrey kind of takes over. It's sort of left a little more of a unknown as to what happens in the theatrical cut, whereas in the director's cut it follows more the musical, where straight up the plant wins and takes over the entire planet. Is essentially what happens at the end of the movie. Another really fun fact that I only learned recently is originally Steven Spielberg was going to direct, and then he moved to executive producer, and he wanted Martin Scorsese to direct the film.
What?
Yeah, so this is really interesting. Steven Spielberg originally was attached to direct. And then
weird in itself, Mike.
But then he decided, I'm gonna produce this, and I'm gonna have Martin Scorsese direct it. And then as they were going through even pre-production, production is not even started, everything changed. It ended up being Frank Oz that ended up directing. They had a new group of producers come in. But yeah, that would have been very, very interesting that was the direction that they were going in. Frank Oz had only done The Muppets Take Manhattan at this point, so they really kind of took a risk on him. But again, Frank Oz has directed a million things now. Obviously, a really talented guy, so they gave him the reins for this one.
That's man, film history is so interesting.
I know the things that you don't know that happen behind the scene. But anyway, I'll just kind of wrap up by saying Little Shop of Horrors, another like see it. Even if you don't like musicals, you're gonna love this movie. It's I hate musical movies. Everyone knows this. I love musicals, but don't like them in the movies. This one does it well and so interesting. It's random and it's funny and it's satirical and it's over the top and it's silly in all the right ways. And I think Little Shop, revisiting it today, is still just a wonderful, wonderful movie.
There you go.
1980s.
It was a time.
Yeah, nothing like jumping back into the 80s. Well, Taylor, before we go, I will just give a couple reminders, trying to do this every couple episodes, that people can still send in fan questions. Again, we get to them when we can because we are recording out of order here and there, but we're going to try to announce every episode, or as many times as we can remember, that you can still do fan questions. Just go to soul1arts.ca. That's SOLONEARTS.ca. Just go to the podcast tab. You'll see it in the top menu. There's a simple form. Fill it out. Send it in. Some fans already found their way to that, but I thought I would mention that every once in a while. Please send in your fan questions. More than happy to continue to hear from you. We hope you enjoyed our look back at the 1980s.
Go see some movies.
Thank you for listening to You Had Me at Skip It, a Soul One Arts Inc. podcast. This podcast is produced by Mike Shepard and Austin Spinner Summer. It is a project of Soul One Arts Inc. To learn more about Soul One and all the great work that Soul One is doing in the arts community, especially in film, theater, and other performing arts, visit soul1arts.ca. You can contribute to this podcast by visiting soul1arts.ca and going to the podcast tab. You'll find all the information on You Had Me at Skip It and how you can get your questions read on air each week. Thank you again for listening.